there was a report last night that if Lane Kiffin takes the LSU job, Ed Orgeron could join his staff.
The report said when Lane Kiffin takes the LSU job. Okay. And I saw this morning another report that Florida is out of the mix. It's either Ole Miss or LSU. And those are the only two remaining. I'm on a text chat group with a Florida graduate and an Ole Miss graduate. And this past week has been something phenomenal to witness. The two of them going back and forth, and no one knows where he's going to end up. It's funny to me, like, that Kiffin has sort of made this redemptive arc the last 5 years. Like, he was, he kind of failed his way out of coaching at one point. Like, he was the Raiders coach, he was bad. He was the Tennessee coach, he gets fired. USC,
he didn't get fired from Tennessee. He moved on to USC, and
then he
got
gets fired from there. He ends up having to be an offensive coordinator, right? Like,
he goes to the Nick Saban School of Rehabilitation.
Sure, and he turns out great. He goes like going to charm school, and all of a sudden everyone loves him. And he goes to Florida Atlantic or whatever.
Nick Saban is the Sharon Osbourne of
Sure. It's My Fair Lady with Nick Saban.
Okay.
And he makes his way all the way back, and now everyone loves him, and he found a home at Ole Miss. It feels like it, right? Like he's found a place where people love him, and they'll do anything for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss.
And he seems happy.
He's been great.
He's at peace.
And he's trolling people, and it's hilarious. We all love it when he trolls people. But now that Ole Miss is in the middle of it, and it's not so much fun when all of a sudden you're in the middle of all the trolling, I think. And you don't you're just like, what's going on? And now there's a report that the college football playoff could exclude Ole Miss if he leaves.
Which is absolutely ridiculous if they do that.
I don't know. It worked out
it's the same thing that they did to Florida State.
And then look what happened.
Look what happened.
Nobody played for Florida State.
66-3.
Nobody played.
Nobody played for Georgia either.
Yeah, that's fine. Nobody wanted to play for Florida State. It's not about what happened. It's about who deserved to be in. Florida State deserved to be in. Florida State was undefeated.
God.
They were 13-0. That defense was loaded. Florida State should have been in that year.
66-3.
No, we're not doing that. It's ridiculous, Jessica. You're right.
And if Lane Kiffin is not the coach at Ole Miss anymore, Ole Miss deserves to be in the college football playoff this year.
Yeah. I think I just, like, if I'm Lane Kiffin, how much better is it at LSU? That's the real question, right? Like if you're leaving Ole Miss to go somewhere else, is the grass really that much greener on the other side? Like, I don't know.
I think there is a human nature, and CJ brought up a really good counterpoint to this yesterday so the opposite of what I'm about to say is you could do it for the first time at Ole Miss. You could be the guy who makes them a national powerhouse, who pushes in where a future coach is looking and saying, I want to coach at Ole Miss one day because Lane Kiffin created a dynasty there and they were a perennial contender in this era of NIL. But my point on the flip side of that is Ole Miss isn't that right now. And from an ego standpoint and from like the life of a coach and how you imagined the trajectory of your life going and the jobs that you take along the way, there's one after Ole Miss. Maybe. And he wants that job after Ole Miss.
LSU is not that right now either.
I know, but they have been.
And I also wonder for Florida, for LSU, like, what is it about Lane Kiffin that makes you want to go all in if you're these other schools? Like, my friend from Florida was saying, like, we got to go get Lane Kiffin. And I was like, why? Like, what
his reputation at this point
won?
as a play caller, as a recruiter, I
mean, last year they had the best roster in college football and failed.
I mean, you got to take into consideration degree of difficulty with some of these things. That's like saying, hey, why would anybody – couple years ago, why would anybody want James Franklin? What has he ever won? He's only been the Vanderbilt coach. Well, hell, he won 9 games at Vanderbilt, right? Like that has to matter for something. The success Lane Kiffin has had at Ole Miss, they hadn't seen since the 60s, right? Ole Miss isn't somebody who's supposed to be out here winning 8 games, let alone 9, 10, 11 games in a season. They've never gotten to an SEC championship game. They've gotten close with Lane Kiffin, right? Like they've gotten within games under Lane Kiffin. Now, I think that you would say if you're Florida or if you're LSU, places where there have been moments and periods of success, we can get that coach in. He's a good coach, and we can put him in our program with our facilities, our resources, and he'll be able to duplicate that success tenfold because he's done that at Ole Miss where the resources aren't as good as ours.
I'd say counterpoint. James Franklin gets to Penn State, has a chance, and can't get over the hump, right?
But counterpoint to that, Penn State wasn't good before James Franklin got there, right? Joe Paterno left, and they wandered about winning 6, 7 games. James Franklin gets there, and the two teams they can't beat. Now, listen,
They're also
he ends up
cursed,
getting
things
fired.
happen.
But like the two teams he can't beat are Michigan and Ohio State, right? And that's because those teams are good. Throw Michigan State in there, maybe. No, don't throw Michigan State in there. No, he was beating them. So even good Michigan State teams, he was beating. But before Franklin got to Penn State, they weren't winning 9, 10 games a season. Franklin comes in and he's winning 10 games a year.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was also going to say that with Kiffin, though, I think the college football landscape is totally different now than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you can, any school can throw a bunch of money at players if they get the money. And so I don't know how much different it is if you're a Lane Kiffin and you've dreamed of maybe one day being a coach at LSU or Florida. Like maybe at this point, like it doesn't matter. You know, he's got like this thing going at Ole Miss.
I think he's trying to figure it out, Lang, because here's his words of the day from his little book.
From his
Day 228. How do you figure out what you really want? You imagine a life that would be too good to be true, and then you take note of the elements, the themes. Are you surrounded by others? Are you quiet? Are you hopeful or healing or resting? Are you adventuring? Are you in your wild? Are you creating? Are you more unique? The picture does not have to come fully into fruition for you to understand that its pieces are directing you to the most honest aspects of yourself. Make a map of that life and live it now. Live it here. Namaste.
If you're an Ole Miss fan,
I added the namaste.
If you're an Ole Miss fan, you got to be like, I mean, get me out
Just
of this.
decide.
Yeah. What is going on, dude?
Just say
Go
where
do
you're
some
going to
hot
go.
yoga with
Does
some of
the
those
map
co-eds
lead
and
back to
come back.
Oxford, or does the
Yeah.
map lead to
Just give us
Gainesville,
an
or does the
answer,
map
bro.
lead to Baton Rouge? Okay, we've taken Gainesville out. Does it
Yeah.
lead to Louisiana? Are you staying in Mississippi? Like, can we just move forward so we know? Are we hiring John Summerall? Or are we having Lane Kiffin as a coach going to the college football
tell
playoff
us.
for the first time
Yeah.
and trying to make a little history?
I mean, to CJ's point though, with Kiffin, like he gets so. I mean, he's taking a team with a Division II quarterback to the playoff this year. Like maybe he has figured it out, and this team is the example of okay, Kiffin is ready to be on that top level of coaches with Kirby and whoever else.
Yeah.
But maybe not. And I don't know if I'm one of these schools. Like, is this worth it? Like what you've been going through the last 2-3 weeks?
It has to be. That's college football. That's the way of the game.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
the-
know. It's so much fun to watch, though.
The weird world of college
And
football.
also,
It's
though,
where we
like-
get other news that we have
Yeah.
6 edible mascots in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
heard that, yeah.
And
We
now have the Boca Raton
upgraded.
Bowl presented by Bush's Beans. So it's the Boca Raton Bowl of Beans. Like, this
like
is the
that.
sport that we love. It's weird. It's chaotic.
Yeah.
It's dramatic. And
And
we
the-
sign up for it every year for
And you never know what
stories
it's
like
going to
this.
be. You never know. Like you didn't see this coming.
And that's where I won't pretend to have any real idea of which way Lane Kiffin is going to go because it's a surprise. Although I will say that the Coach O thing reminded me, which I often forget in the saga of USC football and the Lane Kiffin firing on the tarmac to Steve Sarkisian getting hired and Steve Sarkisian getting fired and then the Clay Helton times and now where we exist with Lincoln Riley. The fans and the player, not the boosters, but the fans and the players wanted Coach O to get that full-time coaching job so badly. I remember watching grown, big football players cry the day that it got announced that Coach O was not getting the interim tag taken off and would not be the head coach the next year.
You know what's going to happen.
And I had forgotten about that until that report yesterday.
Kiffin was going to get the LSU job. Hire
Coach O is
Coach
going to be
O's
hired.
assistant.
Kiffin's going to get fired.
Coach O's going to win another title.
And there we
then
go.
get fired again 3 years later.
Go Tigers.